Here we go. Number 2, the What It Takes Radio Company. We present From Booking to Broadcasting, How to Grow Your Audience, Have More Fun as a Performance Author. And here in adventure number 2, it's still a mystery to so many, so let me try and explain something about this podcasting stuff. Okay, here we go. Good for you. I'm grateful. You decided to go to round 2, episode 2. That means you're going to learn the first lesson about podcasting. In fact, the second lesson about podcasting and broadcasting already. First of all, you've got to make it good enough so they won't click and switch and not come back. You know, getting people to finish the program, just like getting them to finish the book. It's not easy. So we have to continually keep up the energy and the interest and the ability for people to say, okay, I'll turn the page. The second thing you learned about podcasting and broadcasting is always begin with a story. Always. Always start with a story that the audience can relate to. You see, it's not about you. It's about them. That's your third lesson about being a broadcaster. Here we go. Now, I don't know if any of you really know what podcasting is all about. Well, let me try and explain it to you. Perhaps some of you are old enough to have had an iPod. The iPod was before we had the smartphone. And of course, that was where Steve Jobs changed the name from Apple Computer to just Apple because it wasn't about computing. It was about music. And it was an iPod. Now, do you know what that word meant? Well, here, let me tell you. Individual, personal, on demand. You see, most people had listened to radio to listen to the music that the disc jockey played whenever they played it. Or you had to play a record and do that. But now you could play the music that you wanted. You could play it anywhere you were, and you could play it anytime you wanted. You didn't have to do anything with the record company or their product. You didn't have to deal with radio stations and what they wanted. It was you. You could literally have 1,000 of your favorite songs right in the palm of your hands. Personal on demand. And of course, now we take that for granted, but when it first came out, it was magic, truly. And of course, it made a difference in the world. It has also profoundly changed the radio business. And let me explain that to you. Now, when I was first involved in radio a number of years ago, I was fortunate enough to be a part of a large international radio station. It was worldwide in Europe. I had some experience with the BBC and some of that, but this was a radio station where when I was on the air, it was a 500,000 watt transmitter. It took a diesel engine to create enough energy because there were 5 huge 700-foot towers going up, and that's what it took. A huge multi-million-dollar operation for me to stand in front of a microphone and speak the words, play the music, tell the stories. And it went a long ways around the world. Not fully around the world, not at all. But that's what it took. Now, here I am. And this little radio program, because I will also turn it into a radio program as well as a visual program, which is simply radio with pictures, is I stand here with a $50 microphone, which is just fine, a $20 piece of software, and a computer, and I can put together a program that literally will be on the air everywhere there is a phone, an iPad, or a computer. Anybody, anywhere in the world can listen to it when they want to, whenever they want to, as many times as they want to, personal on-demand broadcasting. And it will change the world. Right now, part of the problem is that the traditional radio station is saying, how do we survive? It costs millions of dollars, and then these people are competing with us with a better product, and they're doing it for a few $100. And it's a difficult thing. Just as we're finding it very, very difficult to do that in terms of getting people's attention, we have to adjust to that. Now, there's also an issue that I was one of the first persons to, along with about 3 or 4 others, we invented the idea of the e-book. Now, that's a long, long story, but we invented it, but it didn't work out. I finally made $45 on the project, but if you want to hear the story about how we invented the e-book, yet unfortunately, Amazon decided that they were going to take that idea over. And of course, they've made billions of dollars with it. But it also means that the e-book now is a way of distributing your work. And now, of course, the audiobook is part of our business. And by the way, Amazon, of course, has changed. It used to be that if you wanted to have an audiobook, you actually had to have a real book first. And that's no longer what they say. Hey, if you can put together a good audio program, we'll sell it. If you can put together a good audiobook or program, it doesn't even have to be a book, we'll sell it as an audiobook. It's Audible. And that again has changed your world. That again is part of the competition. People can listen. And in fact, they want to listen. They want the energy and the personality and the expression and the nuance. They don't want just a book to be read to them. They want it to be performed. They don't just want someone reading a story. They want somebody giving them an audio experience. You know, it's an entertainment world. Right now, everything is focused on, will it entertain me in some way? That's the world we deal with. That's the deal. And very, very much they want that on demand whenever they want it. They're very choosy about what they will listen to, what they will read, what they will watch, and how they will live. Now, that's what podcasting is all about. And we can help you do that. It's not nearly as hard as it may seem to be, but it is something that you, as an author, can become not only an author, but an audio performer. Think of that now. You're not just an author, you're an audio, or maybe even a visual performer. You were involved in writing and publishing. And now you are going to be involved in staging and performing. Staging and performing. So if you can begin to handle that paradigm change, you will find your work may not only become more profitable, it may even become more personable. You may actually have better and more intimate relationships with those people who you call they're not your readers. They're not your fans. They are your audience. You need to reach your audience. And now we'll try to tell you how to do that using the microphone. We'll be back for session 3. And we welcome your thoughts, questions, suggestions. StanHustad@gmail.com, 520-664-7002, USA.